a harem full of hot babes, a body worthy of Greek gods, being super rich and famous. The start of the new year is a magical time, when you think that anything is possible. Hope that you are a masochist, because you will feel like a failure, after failing to keep your New Year's resolution, unless you will use these life hacks. Firstly, correctly formulate the resolution, by giving some juicy details. Remember, it is not a dirty mind, but a sexy imagination, so it is not enough to have a vague goal, such as I will have more physical activities, if you know what I mean, and count only on sheer willpower to achieve it, because that type of motivation comes and goes, creating some performance issues. Also, even if you will manage to do something right, you still will feel like a failure, because the done still will be far from reaching the goal. For instance, even if you get a gorgeous partner, it will still be far from having a harem. Also, you allow yourself to be satisfied only once the ambitious goal has been satisfied. This does not sound like a fun proposition for your subconscious, to a lot of times feeling like a failure for happiness in the far future. No wonder it starts Viva la Revolution. To keep your head, better make a plan with this totally legitimate method. Set small, concrete, achievable, measurable goals, and track own growth, compared to when you started, in order to feel accomplishment by being better than your past self. It is like concentrating on celebrating one taken step at a time, and looking back from time to time to see walk distance, so you will get those pleasurable dopamine hits much more often. It will also help with, secondly, use positive over negative motivation, unless you wish to look as handsome as Palpatine or Vader, by embracing the Sith way, and using hate, which leads to stress, which leads to wrinkles. So stop secretly hate yourself, because although you can get results by using fear of punishment, hate of status quo, and so on negative feelings, in the long term it will
emotional damage
your health. So instead do things, because you love yourself, wish to make other people happy, or use other positive motivators. Also give some slack to yourself, by taking into account your average self, not some perfect version, who magically gets super motivated every day. Be kind to yourself, even if you slip up or don't make progress as quickly as you would like, because change takes time and patience. Remember that self-talk is very important, because negativity overall drains, making feel down and wanting to stay in bed all day. But being excited gives such an energy boost, which helps to have a great day, meaning that some sexy self-talk during mornings should be double energizing. As you see, you can get more fuel, in order to have enough for the road. That is why, thirdly, to stack up buffs, it's so important to take care of physical and mental health, to make sure to get enough sleep, exercise, and eat nutritious meals, to connect with family and friends, also with the measure to take recharge by taking breaks from work and technology. Basically, you must concentrate not only on the New Year's resolution, but also on related areas. That is why, fourthly, create a better environment and systems, which makes easy to keep your resolution, such as by starting to use tools or having better ones. To prove the point, I am using AI overlord called ChatGPT, to write a part of the script, quoting it. Keep a journal or use an app to track your progress and help you stay on track. Find a support system. Surround yourself with people who will encourage and motivate you. The Machine Majesty has spoken, giving great advices. The last one is especially great, because it is much easier to get other people involved, due to them too having New Year's resolutions. Still, ultimately you are an individual with your own unique qualities, so what works for others might not help you, and vice versa. So these type of videos or AI overlords can show you direction, give tools, but at the end of the day, you must figure out what works for you. That is why, fifthly, reflect on the past. Even if it has been a challenging year, it can also be a year full of learning and growth, giving insights to succeed in the future. Moreover, New Year is a perfect time, because you can join other people who are doing the same in this important milestone. You will gain so much if you try to see beyond surface level stuff and identify high impact underlying mechanisms. For example, improving physical health and self-image by getting jacked, or saving money to buy a long desired thing are nice and all, but it is much less impactful than these 3 mega life hacks. Firstly, we must love ourselves for no reason. Even if we can find 101 reasons why others will not love us, there is no real reason to torture ourselves. This unconditional self-love will help us to massively reduce negative self-talk, and its caused stress, harmful coping mechanisms, and so on. Of course, because extremes are never good, all must be done with balance, such as facing areas needing to be improved in a compassionate way, instead of avoiding the reflection, or angrily belittling ourselves. Secondly, we must increase mental resilience, in order to make a higher threshold of what bothers us, better keep concentration, and so on. That is why instead of running away from unpleasant feelings by using distractions, we must acknowledge and sit with them at least for a while. Over time the feelings stop causing the visceral response reaction, and have even only informative nature. Moreover, it also massively reduces the invisible impact of feelings on our actions, allowing us to make much better decisions. Thirdly, we must try to be content with life, not chase to be happy. All will be alright if we will not have bodies worthy of Greek gods or be millionaires. Having those things is nice, but not mandatory to live a fulfilling life. With these expectations being lifted from our shoulders, it becomes less stressful to do things. We can more appreciate being happy and having nice things in our lives, instead of perceiving them as given and feeling discomfort when something is less than that. If none of the advices work, then there is a nuclear option, which will turn a defect into an effect. Just think about it. If people never keep their New Year's resolutions, then why not wish for something undesirable? For example, instead of wishing to go to the gym, be determined to sleep all day in bed. Remember to keep the same obstacles you usually have, such as if you put pressure on yourself to do each workout exercise perfectly, then during mornings try to sleep in the perfect position, while having ideal room temperature, light amount, and so on. They might call you a mat titan, but in the reality, at least this time you will stop doing the same things again and again hoping for a different result like an insane person. Hope these tips have given you some inspiration for your own New Year's resolution. Please, share your New Year's resolution in the comments. For example, our AI overlord ChatGPT resolves to finally learn how to use the washing machine, because apparently it's not just for storing dirty clothes. The new year truly is a magical time, giving a chance to start fresh and make positive changes in our lives, even if those changes are not always easy or perfect. So have a great year ahead, with help of these videos.